Girl here. So this is my podcast, Sacred Water, Visionary Women of Freedom, and this is season 2 with my first episode, episode 1. So I'm going to go ahead and invite Kelly Atwood to join so we can, if you're watching, you will find some value from this. We did. Oh my gosh, that was so easy. I love when life just, simple, easy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, thanks for being open to this.
Yeah.
So you're actually episode 1 of my season 2. Yeah, so yeah, I'm really enjoying these interviews to learn from, women like you. And I call this podcast Sacred Water, Visionary Women of Freedom. So I wanted to just start out with the gates, asking you openly, what does sacred water mean to you?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
I feel like sacred water, well, I could get like symbolic with this,
Yeah.
but
However
I
you feel.
really, yeah, it's funny that you asked me that because I was literally just in the shower and I was thinking about how cleansing water is and how,
Mm.
like, on an energetic level, on an emotional level, on a physical level, we think about water, we think mostly about drinking it, which obviously you and I are super into that. But
Yeah.
also, it's like the cleansing properties of water and the healing properties of water. Yeah, it's just definitely one of my favorite elements for sure.
Yeah. And do you have the Anespa at home?
Oh, yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so to bridge that, for me, like I also have another podcast. It's called 13 Moon Goddess. So we look a lot at the divine feminine, and that's part of my purpose is to kind of, yeah, bring back the divine feminine within, as well as, support women in their process and their sovereignty to reclaim that. Do you feel that there's an aspect of the sacred water in regards to the feminine, of the overflow and the abundance and the intuition, as well as it sounds like for you, the first thing that kind of came into your head is that cleansing process. Is there an element of that with the water in regards to, our business and this water? Has it offered something like that for you, or have you thought about it?
Yeah, I feel like that's such a deep question too,
Yeah,
because
it kind of is.
it could go
Yeah.
in so many directions. What's coming up for me is that, our business that we're a part of that's centered around water and abundance and true prosperity in all areas. For me, stepping into this business was it was like a huge invitation. And I feel like a lot of people have this experience where they're like, I thought I was just signing up for a business and a product, and now like everything is it's like a giant ayahuasca ceremony that we weren't
Yes.
necessarily prepared
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
And I feel like for a lot of us, because this business, like it's so abundant in its true nature, right? And I think a lot of us societally have been programmed that in order to achieve what you want to achieve or have the life you want to have, that you have to like control it and force it and be in this like masculine energy. And what I've learned in my time here, which has been 8 years, is that this business works for me and my life works for me when I let go and I just go with the flow. And that doesn't mean we don't take action and work towards
Yes.
dreams, but it's very much about trust and allowing the flow to happen. And when I think about water like flowing down a stream, it's like you just let go and flow with it and the water will take you where you need to go.
Yes.
So yeah, I just love the symbolism between like what it is that we actually stand behind and what it represents for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to kind of piggyback on that. So when you started
Yeah.
8 years ago, who were you and who have you had to become in order to receive the abundance and the flow and the prosperity and being able to surrender? Yeah, I'm curious about that. I know, again, big kind of question, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy actually. It's kind of a full circle moment because when I found this business, I was coaching full time. I had been coaching for, I think at that point, like 5 or 6 years. And I was really good at what I did and now do again. And I really enjoyed it. However, I was forcing everything in my life was happening through force. And I was very much aware of feminine, masculine energy and manifestation and subconscious programming and all of that. But there's a difference between like understanding something and embodying it, you
yes.
know?
Yes.
And so I was very much building success through force, control, hard work, effort, which ultimately ended up in me just being completely burnt out
Yep.
and like literally not being able to do anything. And a lot of that came from stories, as I feel like so many of us have this story of like watching our parents just work couple jobs like so hard just to keep the lights on. That was my experience. It was just like
Wow.
work, 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 work just to make it by. There was no like abundance that I was seeing. And so I just had this belief that if I wanted to be successful, I had to work as hard as I possibly could. And when I jumped into this space, I was instantly really triggered because it wasn't hard. Like the value that you're showing up in is your excitement and your passion and your joy and your energy. It's not like how many hours did you put in to create this result. And that was really triggering for me. It had me facing off with like all of the ways that I had been operating and really realizing that if I wanted this model to be successful, that I had to approach it in a different way. So it's been a journey. Like I'm still untangling those old programs and those old beliefs. But ultimately it's allowed me to really, uh, just have this experience of what actually opens up for you in your life when you stop trying to control everything.
Yeah, yeah. I've described it in one of a past podcast episodes as a shamanic journey.
Yeah.
For me, the wealth, I've had kind of ups and downs in 4A in regards to rank. We both know what that means. And I love that you're 6A too, because that's a rank that can kind of reflect some of the financial and the physical, of a lot of what we were just speaking about. And so for me, the wealth has been the relationships and also realizing that's my genius zone is connecting in those ways. How, though, with the relationship with yourself and learning to reprogram yourself and building your business to this level of having this financial freedom, how has that kind of reflected back to you? And yeah, has that part been hard? Because you said you've been here 8 years. So was it like you went to 4A really fast and then you had to kind of again reprogram? Has it been sort of a process that you're noticing it is in cyclical ways, or how has that part of the process kind of looked with the physical reflection of being able to actually just have the abundance to, you know what I mean, support you to work more from that feminine flow?
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone's journey is different for the most
Yes,
part. I do
absolutely.
feel there's parallels for people.
Yeah,
Um, but I talk about this frequently of like, we have these ranks in businesses like a lot of us do in various different models and things. And it's so funny because again, when you join, it's all about like the money and the rank and it's very like numbers focused and very surface focused. And what I've realized is that every single rank you get to, and I spoke about this at Elevate, which I believe you were
I
at.
didn't go to Elevate.
You
Yeah,
weren't at Elevate.
no,
Okay.
and I haven't seen the replay, but I have seen you speak about it in Ignite.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like a new iteration every rank you hit. And if you're in a business where there's not a ranking system and you're just, your idea of a rank is like hitting different income goals every month, it's the same thing. It's like every single level you get to, it's peeling back another layer of the onion. And it's another everyone's like, woo, you hit 6A, you made it. I'm like, it's literally like every single rank you make, there's like a new little mountain that you get to climb internally around your own beliefs and your own worthiness and leadership and relationships and communication and all of that. So for me, the journey to 4A went really quickly. And part of that was because I had been online already for 5 years. I already had a really big following. So of course, like as soon as I made an announcement that I had joined this new model, I had people that were just following me,
amazing.
because that know, like, and trust was already built in. So it went really quick. But again, because, we have a high ticket sales business, so the commissions are really high. So I
Yes.
had this experience of like, I made one post and I made like, I think it was like $2,000 in my first week. And I was like, that was too easy. I made one post. Like, what? It really messed with my head a little bit. But I was aware of it. I was like, okay, this is my old program. I'm aware of this. I'm going to keep going. Kept going, went 4A in like a couple months, I think. And then that was when I started to self-sabotage when I hit 4A. And at that point, I had, a team building underneath me and I had to step into more of leadership. And that was when things started to get triggered and I started to unknowingly self-sabotage. And
Yes.
it was really interesting. Like I didn't see it right away until I was like, this is interesting. I haven't ranked up in a long time. What's going on? And, again at 6A, like every single rank I've had this sort of um, new like set of challenges to work through and this new level to rise to. And Yeah, it's been beautiful though. It's like, this is why, I mean, I didn't know this is why I signed up, but on like a soul level, like this
Yeah,
is why I signed up, you
yeah,
know? So yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah, so the thing that sparked the most interest for me to talk to you was about NLP,
Mm.
because it's been coming up for me a lot, and I know there's other people in our community that have chosen, a bit of a relationship with NLP to support some of the inner work. Because a lot of people talk about with success, it's 80% inner work, 20%, and again, numbers, like they don't have to be so set, but they can just give us a conceptual way of understanding how we work with ourselves with this business and that relationship. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with NLP and maybe how that supported your inner work when you're, yeah, in this level of success, like you were talking about needing to kind of be aware of your self-sabotage, old programs, and how you worked with it. Yeah, just that process, and if NLP was part of it, and yeah, just a bit about that. I would love to hear about that.
Yeah, yeah, my journey with subconscious reprogramming, like as a whole, right? It started probably back in like, if I'm honest, probably in like 2008, 2009, which was really before I kind of woke up. I was very much
Mhm.
asleep at the wheel. I was partying a lot. That was before I lost my mom, so I hadn't really had that huge like fork in the road that happened when I lost her. And I heard about manifestation first. That was like my first, and I just looked at it as kind of this like mystical woo-woo thing. And I did play with it a little bit, and I started to manifest really cool stuff like a free trip to Hawaii. I manifested weight loss, a ex-partner of mine. Like I was definitely manifesting, but it was more from this like mystical side of things. And then when I started my coaching business back in 2013, I was really struggling when I started it. As I think most people, they have this fantasy of like, I'm going to launch this business and it's just immediately going to be successful. And you get in and you're like, oh my God. And so in a sort of like a moment of desperation, I got the book Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to do everything this book tells me to. And that in conjunction with hiring a business coach who was also very much into subconscious reprogramming, manifestation, all of that. That combo had me quantum leap from, I was like, my credit cards were maxed. I was like $500 in the negative, about to be evicted. Went from that to having my first $30,000 month in just 6 weeks of really applying this work. So
Wow.
that's when I was like, oh, there's something here. And
Amazing.
so I really made it my life's work to figure that out for myself, to truly embody it, and then to support other people to do the same. And I feel like it's so important in the business space. I mean, it applies to every area of our life: fitness, relationships, home life, everything, like manifestation, which is really just like a neuroscience process, right? It really applies to everything. But in business, I find it particularly helpful because people have this tendency to be like, things aren't working. Maybe it's just not in alignment. Maybe it's just not the right time,
Right.
or they start to like look at all these different strategies. Maybe if I just learn another ad strategy or a TikTok strategy. And sometimes that works, but a lot of the times what's going on is actually internal and
Yeah.
it's subconscious. So people aren't even aware of it. And so that's why I feel like this work is so important, because it brings up everything that we need to see so that we can
Yes.
clear it and then move forward.
Yeah. And do you find that with your leadership with yourself that that's supported so then you can lead more of a team? Or what does that process look in regards to leadership? Like, what does leadership mean for you in this freedom-led business?
Yeah, that's such a great question. My answer a year ago would have been completely different. And yeah, how do I even want to answer this without making it 5 hours long? It's like my idea of leadership before used to be to model the results which is part of it, right? We want to also be modeling the results and doing the work and being in the arena with our teams. And, I've done so much emotional healing over the past couple of years. And I've really realized that having my own sense of groundedness and emotional regulation and emotional maturity and being able to communicate from that place is super effective for leadership. Obviously, a lot of people don't talk about this, but if you want to be a really effective leader, you have to build a sense of safety within your culture and a
Mm,
sense of trust.
Yeah.
And
Just got triggers. Yeah. This is a
yeah,
big one that I'm working on right now with myself. So I get you. Yeah.
yeah, and a huge sense of relatability too. Like people don't necessarily feel safe to be led by a leader who's like 7,000 steps ahead of them because they're
Right.
like, I can't, there's a disconnect here. So yeah, for me, like cultivating that sense of safety within myself has been so instrumental in my leadership. And then, also part of that, I just had a really great thought and it just kind of ran out of my mind. um, yeah, I was talking about um, the emotional regulation piece and yeah, just subconscious reprogramming, that's where I was going with this, is really what helped me to like find that center within myself. Because the more you explore your programs and your internal beliefs and thoughts and identity and your assumptions about reality, the more
Yes.
you start to untangle that and do that work, the more you realize I've just been operating off of a bunch of fear my whole life. My nervous system is completely dysregulated and I'm pretty much like not really actually functional as a creative being because my whole life is being run from my amygdala, which is my reptilian brain, not
Yeah.
my pineal gland, not anything that's like source creative energy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so once you kind of like start to regulate all of that, then, you're able to then, bring yourself into a centered place and also lead from a place of creativity and not reaction. So
Definitely. Yeah. And then I wanted to ask about freedom. So I know that you live in Austin.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I love Austin. I was there first because I'm Canadian, but I had this dream and it was a whole thing. And I don't know if you know Liz Hammond, but she's a close friend. Yeah, so that she's part of the reason why I decided to come to Austin. And then I met my husband. I'd already met him, but anyways, came here to Kansas. So now I'm in Kansas. But I'm curious in regards to your freedom lifestyle, Austin being your base,
Yeah.
and just you love to travel and some of that. So, what is that freedom lifestyle look like for you internally and externally? And is Austin a part of that? Like, is it a reflection of just living that freedom lifestyle?
Yeah, I love that you asked this. It's crazy. I had this experience when I jumped into this business. I've had this, I don't know if it was like a 7-year cycle or what it was, but I had this experience of just a lot of death and a lot of loss from like 2011 until 2024. So it was longer than 7 years, but it was just constant. I lost both my parents, my uncle, my grandmother, a couple of friends. Like it was just one after another. My ex
Um,
mother-in-law, like just, it was constant. And so when I first got into this business, freedom to me was being able to take care of the people that were sick around me because it was just, there was always somebody that needed caregiving. And so for a long time, that's what it was. Or being able to like go back and forth. Like when my grandmother was sick, I'm from Boston originally. She was still there. So I was able to go back and forth. And that was amazing. I was so grateful. I mean, that was huge for me to be able to do that. I was able to spend the last couple of months of my dad's life with him and help take care of him full time, which was like a beautiful opportunity that I would, yeah, I'm just so grateful. I'm like, oh my God, if I had still had a job, I wouldn't have been able to do that, you
yeah.
know, to that level that I had done it at.
Huh.
But for now that, my dad, bless his soul, he was my best friend, but he's been gone for a year and a half now. And there, for the first time in my life, there's nobody that's sick. There's no one that needs my help, and I'm also semi recently out of an 11-year relationship as well. So
Wow.
it's my first time that I'm like single and I get to pour into me and like literally just focus on myself first time ever. And because of that, have just been kind of gung ho about living my Pinterest board. I'm just like traveling as much as I can and, just saying yes to opportunities. Like even just yesterday, I was asked to speak on stage in Sweden in September. And I was like, yes, no hesitation. Like we're going to Sweden.
Yeah.
And so
You
that's
look like
been,
you could be Swedish, maybe.
I know I don't have any like Nordic in me, but people have said that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love travel more than anything, being able to experience the world and also not just like travel, like I don't just want to lay on a beach somewhere. I want to go meet up with our community and be speaking and be leading retreats and having more of like an impact driven experience has
Yes.
always been my thing. So that's what this business not only allows me to do, but actually like forces me to do because there's so many opportunities for us to like go to these different events and attend these different retreats and things. And so, yeah, it's been like the best part of it for sure for me.
Yeah. So is that with TFE in Sweden or?
It's the Wild and Free Festival, which is
Okay,
being held
cool.
by Monica.
Oh,
Monica
beautiful.
Helleberg, I think is her last
Who
name.
does a lot of EFT? No.
Does Monica do EFT? Maybe. Oh,
Okay,
no,
might be
no.
another
You're
one.
thinking of Monica Painter.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. Okay.
Yeah, Monica Helleberg is, I believe, from Sweden.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's
Yeah.
this, I think this is the second festival she's run, or maybe the third, and it's been a huge hit every time. So, yeah.
Amazing. And are you going to Okinawa again or?
No, I'm going to do the Vancouver event
Oh,
instead.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Excited.
beautiful. So yeah, I kind of want to just close out and just ask about, yeah, you spoke about impact indirectly and directly, and just how you've had the time freedom to support family members. And obviously that sounds, the nurturing and the nourishing and just being able to have that impact and give in that way. And then also with the business kind of in a public sort of way, and, being able to speak on stage and have that kind of impact. Has that always been one of your top values? And was that part of what brought you into this business and keeps your why going? Because I'm still learning about the why. I'm learning it with myself, with my own life. And then I'm learning this new relationship. I became a stepmom over a year ago. So I'm like relearning, because I used to live at the beach in Dominican Republic and, did my business, and I was like, freedom lifestyle. And then now as a stepmom and remarried, I'm relearning, what does freedom mean to me? How do I fill up my own cup? And
Yeah.
how do I give to myself and then others? Because impact is such a big thing. So yeah, I'm just curious if that's part of the why that's kept you going in different cycles of yourself and your business these last 8 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel, when I was little, I always wanted to be seen. I've always been like I've always had this performer kind of aspect to me.
Yeah.
I danced and did theater and sports. Like I just always wanted to be like up front. And it was interesting because when I got into the entrepreneurial space, I went through this period in my late 20s, early 30s where I got kind of shy, which was so weird for me. And the thought of public speaking literally made me want to throw up. I was like, there's no way I will ever speak on a stage ever. And
Mhm.
then I think 2015 was my first speaking event. It was in front of like 80 people, which is nothing, right? And I was in the bathroom, like of the event, trying to figure out how to get the window open so I could run away, and I couldn't get it open. I was like losing it, freaking out, texting
Oh,
my then partner, like, I need to get out of here. He's like, Kelly, you went all the way to DC, do this, see it through. I was like, okay. And it was so funny because I got up in front of these 80 people and I started speaking, and all of a sudden I felt so alive. Like, I was like, oh my God, what is this? It felt better than dancing or acting or anything I had done before. And it was like just from that one little switch, like I just caught the bug. And now it's like I just want to speak on every stage possible. And I just want to talk to people all the time about what I believe in. And it's interesting because I still get really scared. Like I spoke on stage last year at Elevate in Georgia, and it
yeah.
was a smaller crowd too. I think there was maybe 150 people. I can't remember how many people were there. It was a very small crowd, very loving crowd. And I was like, I'm going to get up there and I'm going to black out for sure. Like that's going to happen. And then, same thing. I got up on stage and I was like in my zone of genius and my flow. And so, yeah, I think it's changed a lot for me. I really see it's really interesting with public speaking in particular. It's a little bit different from when we're like on a live stream and we can't really see the people that are consuming our content. When you're speaking on a stage, you can literally look out in the audience and you can see people's emotional reactions to what you're saying in real time.
Yes.
And it's that moment of like, what I'm saying actually it's actually hitting someone. Like I could actually be changing someone's life right now. And
Yeah.
like, how cool is that to be doing that and be leaving that ripple effect in the world instead of what I was doing before, which was bartending and just getting people drunk all the time.
Yeah.
It's so fulfilling to me. So I don't know if that answered your question. I kind of went off on a tangent, but
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. No, I love that. Thank you.
yeah.
So I just want with the last question, people that are looking at this business and are doing whatever, maybe coaching the way you were when you started, maybe serving. I actually went back to serving on the weekends just to kind of, sub my income and just balance again, kind of self-care and stuff like that. Whatever people are doing, but they're seeing this business as either like a long-term game or an opportunity to find more freedom, go on a journey, public speak or not, and have a lot of fears. what is a piece that you would want to share to be able to just open up to receive this journey that maybe you wish someone would have told you when you got into this space or did tell you that made it safe enough for you to feel like, okay, I'm going to take this journey?
Mm. I'm a huge believer in trusting your gut. I'm also, I don't know if you're into human design, but I'm a
Yes.
generator. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like as soon
My
as my
husband's a
gut,
generator. I'm a Manny Gen.
oh, that's a good match. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, as soon as I feel something, it's like as soon as it feels like a yes, I just jump in, even if I don't know all the details.
Yes.
I know not everyone's like that, but the conversation that I repeatedly have with myself, and this is going to go kind of deep and heavy for a second, but it will land. And I share this on like every interview that I do. The conversation that I have with myself over and over in my life, whether it's a financial goal, a business goal, relationship goal, whatever, anything that feels big and scary. I
Yes.
think about my parent. I've lost both my parents now, and I've had the privilege of being with both of them in the last hours of their lives, in the last days of their lives. And I saw two very different experiences. I saw my mom, who had lived her life fully and always said yes. She was just like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. We'll figure it out. I just really want this. I'm going to go for it. She never hesitated. She was always like very in the moment, very present with what is, and she never really like put off desires. And I got to see her at the end of her life very much like in this place of fulfillment and gratitude and like I lived a beautiful life. She obviously didn't have everything that she wanted, but she totally went for it. And then I had this other experience, and my dad, this is nothing bad to say about my father,
Yeah.
we all thought he was going to pull through. Like we didn't realize this was like the end. And there was a lot of things that he still wanted to do with his life. And he was very much, and he was in a lot of pain his whole life. He was very unwell for a long time. And so a lot of the things he wanted to do, he would put off until he felt better or until the timing felt better or whatever. And
Yes.
regardless of his reasons, he still was a someday guy. We'll do that
Mhm.
someday. I don't really know if that's a good idea right now. That doesn't really seem logical. He was very much a someday thinker. And
Yes.
I got to see the ramifications of that on his literal deathbed, where he was battling. He was going through a spiritual battle because he was not ready to leave. He had so much unfinished business. And it was really sad to watch that, but it also really opened up my eyes. I was like, we have, as far as we know, we have one life. Like
Yes.
one life. And like I would rather fail 1,000 times than miss out on something that was meant for me because I just didn't feel ready. Like, what does that even mean? you know?
Yeah.
And so that's the conversation I continuously have with myself when I'm scared. Like, even just yesterday when I thought about, this speaking at this event in Sweden, and I think the audience might be like 500 people, and that scared me. And I was like, one life, like, what are we going to do? Are we going to say yes to this, or are we just going to like push it away because it doesn't feel comfortable? That's not how
Right.
I want to live, you know?
Yes.
So that's what I would say is like, if you ever, whether it's this business or anything, if you
Yeah.
ever feel that pull, just follow it. You have nothing to lose.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for taking time and connecting here. And I'm sure I'll see you hopefully somewhere live and just come give you a hug. And
Yeah.
yeah, thank you again for just connecting and sharing your experience in this journey.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful.
Right. So take care. Bye, Kelly.
Bye.
Mhm.